Today I'm going to show you how I made some little Christmas ornaments for an upcoming project that I'm doing with a few other miniature channels. So on the 17th of November, we're all going to do a demonstration of miniature Christmas trees, and everybody's going to have a different variation. So I bought those little head pins, and the head pins are super handy for making perfume bottles and like you name it. So I put some beads on it, and then I bend the head pin over and make a little loops to signify like the top of the Christmas ornament. Sorry, it's a little bit off camera, but it's really hard to film when you're using needle nose pliers and trying to make it exact. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of bending it around so that the beads will stay on, and also so I have a little place to put a piece of string to hang these onto my Christmas trees. So it's a little fiddly because they're tiny, but eventually you get it. And these head pins are not a really hard wire, so they're not too bad to bend. They're pretty easy. So as long as you got a little pair of needle nose pliers, you got her made. So the first ones that I'm doing are going to be little Santa ones. So I put a large red bead on the bottom, a larger white bead for the face, a smaller red bead for the hat, and then a tiny white seed bead on the top for the pom-pom on the top of the hat. And I'm going to make a dozen of these. So here's what they look like. Now I've got them all made with the head pins on them. So again, it's red on the bottom, then white, then a smaller red, and then a tiny white. So that's what each of them look like. And again, totally not in frame. Good grief. There you go. That's a little bit better. So now I'm going to be doing the same thing, only I'm going to be making snowmen. And because my tree is going to be very tiny, I'm only going to use 2 balls, and then a black one for the snowman's hat. So that's what it looks like. So you can see, so 2 balls and then a black one for the snowman's hat. And again, it's the same process. You gotta bend that little head pin in half and then curl it around and make a little loop. So you can see here I've got it by the end, and that's what the head pins look like. And so you bend it in half and then grab it and bend it into a loop. So this is probably the most tedious part of it, is doing this, like just making sure that they're on there properly. So if you don't put a loop on the top of it, of course they're gonna fall apart. Now I guess you could do this just by gluing all the beads together, but I think that using the head pins is just a easier idea. It just holds everything together. And I guess you could use these for earrings too as well if you wanted to. So there you go. That's what it looks like. So again, I'm going to make a dozen of these little snowmen. So 24 Christmas tree ornaments in total. But I have more than one house, so I want to be able to put a few of these on each of my trees. So there you go. So I've got a dozen of these little guys made up. So now we're going to have to do some details on the little faces. So I've got out here a plain piece of cardboard that I'm going to be able to dispose of. And I've got out a little tray, and I'm dumping out these little tiny caviar beads in black. And I've also, out of frame, got some little orange seed beads for the carrot noses. So I'm going to be doing up the little snowmen first. And how I'm going to do it is I'm going to use resin. Now, you don't have to use resin. You could use crazy glue, or you could use, yeah, I guess crazy glue would probably be the only alternative. I find though when you're messing with crazy glue with something this tiny, I end up sticking my fingers together. So for me, it's just a little tiny bit easier to be able to use the UV resin, and then I can put it underneath the light and it's cured within a minute, and then they're done and I don't have to worry about it. And because I'm working in such a minute amount and with such small pieces, you should really wear gloves when you use the UV resin, but I don't end up using gloves. It's just, I tried and then I gave up on it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm counting out some little orange beads which were mixed with my red beads, so I have to pick them all out of the bag. So I'm just kind of counting out a dozen of them so that I end up having enough. I actually take out 14 because I'm going to drop at least one or two of them on the floor. So so now I've got that all counted out. I'm going to start doing sticking them onto the little snowmen. So I'm just putting a little dollop of UV resin onto this little piece of cardboard, and that's enough UV resin to actually do all 24 of these little ornaments. So I've got my first one going, and I think it's ready to go under the black light, and I'm trying to figure out where the center of my camera is. There it is. So you can see here, that's the UV resin brand that I use. So I think they're all pretty much equal. I mean, that's the only kind that I've ever used, but the only reason why I use it is because that's what's available at Michael's, and it's the easiest place for me to access it. So I've got this little tool here, which is kind of like a little tiny Q-tip, and just kind of pushing the pieces into place. And I'll show you here how I do it. So I get a little bit of UV resin on my tool. Now you could use a toothpick for this. It works just as well as this little thing. And then I take my little orange seed bead and I plunk it down and give them a nose. And then I take a little caviar bead or a no-hole bead, and I'm sticking a little black eye on either side. Now, because the resin kind of pools, the little caviar beads want to slide together. So you got to kind of work it with either your Q-tip or what have you to spread them apart so that they're not all their eyeballs too close together. So, and there you go. I've got them all kind of made up. I'll give you a better close-up shot at the end. But I think they look really cute. So, I mean, you can use just plain beads to put on a Christmas tree, but I think these ones are kind of unique. So for the little Santas, I've got nail art little pieces. So they're little red dots that are flat on the back. But you could, again, use a red or a pink caviar bead for the little nose. So I just happen to have these little nail art pieces that my friend Cheryl gave me, so I figured I'll use them up and see how they look. And it's kind of nice because it's flat on the back. They sit really, really awesome right on the middle of the bead. And I've only got 2 black caviar beads left, so I have to dig in my stash, and I do find some navy ones to finish up the project, but this is the only Santa that's going to have black caviar beads for eyes. So, and again, if you're using a toothpick or even this tool, the UV resin on the end of the tool makes it really super easy to pick these tiny beads up. So, oops, I dropped an eyeball. I got to pick it up and put it back on. So I'm just kind of adjusting these 3 little beads on top of the little puddle of UV resin. And then as soon as I got it exactly where I want it, I put it under the light. So unfortunately, the cord for my light is really short, so that's why I'm curing them all off a camera. So I've got 11 more that I have to do, and I think these ones are actually cuter than the snowman. The snowmen are kind of cute because the carrot nose is really oversized and it's kind of silly looking, and I kind of like that. But yeah, so I'm going to be using a little bit of a cotton ball to make Santa's beard. So what I do is I just kind of pull it so I get a little tiny wisp of cotton ball, and then I fold it in half. I don't want it to be too terribly big because then the UV resin won't cure. So it's got to be quite a thin little piece. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of UV resin on his little chin, and then I'm going to put this little tiny bit of cotton swab or cotton ball on his chin, and then stick it under the light and cure it, and then he'll have a little beard. So that's why I didn't give any of them or any of the little Santas a mouth, because the little beard is going to be covering the mouth area. So yeah, I think it'll turn out pretty cute. Now you could leave the beards like long. I end up trimming mine off. That's mostly because I do 1/24 scale, and I don't want my little ornaments to be too large. So you can see here I'm just kind of trimming it down just a little bit after it's cured. So that's what he looks like all done up. So, and again, I'll be giving you a better close-up of him at the end of the video. So now I'm gonna have to put together the other 11. So, and they do take I think about a minute under the UV light, but I end up curing them for much longer. So this is what the little Santa Clauses look like. And I'm showing you what they look like with the full length beard. I do end up trimming mine, but you might like them just like that with the longer beard. There's one, the first one that I did that I actually trimmed, and I think it looks a little neater with the shorter beard. But I mean, that's a personal preference. So yeah, so they kind of look cute. I mean, something different. I mean, you can use just plain beads on your Christmas tree, and that looks lovely too. I just wanted something a little bit different. So my daughter suggested that I take out the air dry clay or paper clay and make some popcorn, but that's pretty hard to do in my scale. So, oh, look at that. Isn't he cute? So yeah, they were a lot of fun to make, these little guys. I really had quite a good time making them, and I think they're going to look adorable on the tree. I've got some candy canes that I purchased at the show and sale that I can also add to my little trees. But yeah, just having something a little bit unusual and different from what everybody else has. So yeah, I think those are going to look pretty good. So yeah, so you could use larger beads if you're building in a larger scale. I just made the tiniest ones that I could possibly make. So there we go. So little guys. So much fun. I can't wait, actually. This is making me kind of excited. I can't wait to set up my own Christmas tree in the house. That's one thing I really love doing. I love decorating at Christmas. So I have an insane amount of Christmas decor that I drag out every year. And I'm so sad in January when I have to put it all away. I wished I could leave it up all year round. So there you go. So that's one of the little snowmen. See him sideways, how big his little nose is, just like a carrot. So cute. And here's the little Santa Claus. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to help support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Lisa Dobo. I'd like to thank everyone that has bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And please hit the like button and tell your friends about my videos. And if you enjoy watching my videos, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and it'll let you know every time I post a new video. And once again, have the best day ever.